Hello. All right,
Hi.
let's get started.
Yes. Welcome to
The Girl
the Girl
Downstairs
Downstairs
podcast.
podcast. Yay!
We are very happy you are here and listening.
Yeah, listening.
So just like an intro to our podcast. Me and Penelope are best friends, have been since fifth grade probably.
Yes.
And we both watch a lot of television, to say the least, and a lot
Yeah.
of the same shows.
Yeah.
So this is just us talking about some of our favorite TV shows.
Mm-hmm. The first one we are doing is New Girl. I think one of my favorite shows.
Easily,
So good.
yeah, one of the greatest shows. Yeah, let's get into it, I guess. So, New Girl is just like a basic rundown of the show. It is a show about, well, the main character is basically this girl named Jess who lives
unbearable.
Yeah, we don't like her, but the other characters are great. Who lives in a loft with 3 other men, and then it goes on for 7 seasons just about their life, and it's like a comedy, like sitcom show.
Yeah.
A great comedy sitcom show.
Yeah, I mean, like, it sounds kind of boring, but it's just so much better once you watch it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched it, you're not gonna understand it as well. I mean, yeah.
But because what really I think makes the show special, and what makes me love it at least, is just how like great the characters are by like
other than Jess.
Terrible.
There are some of them who are completely terrible and who make me want to rip my hair out, but there are some of them who make me laugh every single time.
Yeah, but I mean, there are characters like one of the main characters, Schmidt. I think there will definitely could easily be a lot of controversy about Schmidt because he's a very questionable character because he's rich white boy Republican and really annoying, but also the funniest and most ridiculous person of all time.
That's true.
Which I think also just adds to the show because you're confused for a while. You're like, do I like him as a character? Do I not? But then I definitely do.
I do. Same. But also, I don't like shows where I like every single character.
Yeah, I think
in all of my favorite shows, there's a couple people that I absolutely hate.
Also, the people who like Jess as a character in New Girl definitely hate Schmidt.
Yeah. Also, just stay away from them. That's not
that's how that's gonna work out. Also, I think what makes again adding to what we like about the show and what makes the show special and why I think it is one of my favorite TV shows is the relationships between the characters, because it's something I have not seen in any other real show. Just how great the chemistry of the and I mean right now I'm honestly talking more about the friendships, the chemistry between people like Nick and Schmidt, who are 2 of the main characters who have just a beautiful friendship. I think is really makes the show extremely
and also how the relationships evolve, because in a lot of shows it's just it's the same relationship just all the way through. It's just they're besties. But in this show there are a lot of different relationships that you see happen throughout time, with Winston and Cece. That wasn't a thing early seasons, but then it evolved into a great friendship.
Yeah, the Winston and Cece
mess around
make the show very special. And I think that everything about the show and everything about the context between the relationships and how they ended up living with each other at the time is just works in a way. It's just it all it's a puzzle that just came together and created this magnificent show. Between and I think that also goes to show how having 6 or 7 or 7 seasons, but 6 really solid good seasons.
Yeah, 7 seasons is not that good.
Well, yeah, we can talk about that later. I think that really just helped the show because it helped. What I like about New Girl is how I said, the relationships and the friendships, and having those 7 seasons just helps like build that like chemistry on set,
and how the characters evolve too.
Oh yeah,
like
the characters
they stay true to themselves, but they also change a lot.
Yeah,
like it's just they stay true to what you think would happen to them, but they still like their personality changes. Like Winston, I think, changes the most.
Yeah.
He kind of gets annoying in later seasons. He's like all about like pranks and like his cat. But I think it works with his character though.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the characters develop. I think what I find really funny actually is if you like watch interviews with like Jake Johnson or Max Greenfield, who are the actors who play like Schmidt and Nick, like on YouTube, it's so funny because they so embody the relationship between Schmidt and Nick like on set, and like they're also just like very similar to the characters they play.
Yeah, and if they didn't have that chemistry off camera, it wouldn't be as good of a show.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like if you're 2 actors and you don't like each other, you're not gonna make a good show.
Yeah, and like, they're all like friends, like still.
Yeah,
and yeah, I think that like the casting was obviously just like superb because everyone just like fits and everything just works. And then aside from friendships, also like the
romantic relationships.
Yeah, exactly, romantic relationships.
Some of them are bad, some of them are good, but that's what makes the show good, is that you're not supposed to like every single character. Otherwise, then it gets boring.
Yeah.
But like certainly a lot of the like people that like Jess dates, I don't like. But I think that's what makes it good.
I think the characters that Jess dates help her character development, because I don't like Jess is like my least favorite character in the show, but that's honestly just because I love every other character in the show so much. She's not actually like a bad character or anything.
No. Like for a certain type of person, she's definitely like a great character. Yeah. Like she doesn't like do bad acting or anything.
Yeah, no.
It's just that she's kind of boring, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, also the way we're kind of describing the show seems really boring. It just seems like 4 people just like sitting on a couch and like talking. But it is
not far off.
In a way, it's not far off, but it is a lot more interesting than that. And like, even if you're not that like big into like like actiony shows that don't like have that much like stuff going on, New Girl is still like a great show, and like everyone I know who's watched it has like liked it, even if they don't normally watch shows like that. But yeah,
and it's not that boring. There is like a solid plot line.
Yeah,
it's like what's happening. So I mean, if you haven't watched it, then you probably think that it's boring. But if you have, then you understand what we're talking about, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to like the romantic relationships, I think they honestly make the show much more interesting. Especially, I think the relationships a lot are centered around, well, Jess to begin with. I mean, she dates a lot of people. Not that way, but she dates Paul, who works at her school.
He's so strange.
Sam, the doctor.
Yeah.
Nick, obviously, and that's a whole different thing that we can get into a little bit later.
I feel like, even though I've only met like 2 people who've watched New Girl, I feel like that's probably a controversial topic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I don't like that relationship in any way, shape, or form, but some people think it's so cute.
Yeah.
For some reason.
So yeah, I'd say those are probably the major ones. Penelope, are there any more?
Well, Winston and Allie.
No, I'm talking about just Jess right now.
Just Jess? I feel like there are more. Wait. Well, Spencer.
Yeah.
That's the boyfriend that starts off the series,
that's kind of minor. And she moves into the loft with these 3 other men because
she broke up with
him.
Oh, Russell. I love Russell.
Russell's a great character. I think we can focus mostly on Paul, Russell, Sam.
And then there's like Robbie and Gavin and Ryan too.
Oh my god, there's so many.
There's a lot of them.
Wait, who's Gavin?
Gavin is Schmidt's dad.
Oh God. Okay. I that as a relationship.
I don't think that's a major.
Okay. So going into the specifics about them, let's start off with Russell and Jess.
So great. Such a great relationship.
Great couple. Honestly, had a good run.
Background, Russell's like super rich. Like he's very rich.
And he's like very like classy and elegant, and everyone that like Jess knows is like really intimidated because they're all like broke, sharing with like 3 other roommates like living in LA. And I think once Nick and Jess get together, like Nick becomes like so like he tries to like copy everything about Russell.
Russell does. Yeah. Like Nick is like platonically in love with Russell.
Yeah.
And it's kind of really funny.
And I think that is just beautiful character development for all of them. Honestly, I think even though after like Nick becomes like so like obsessed with Russell, I think it's still like character development for Jess. So I do like that relationship. Also, like when they break up, I think it's still important and good for the show.
Yeah. And like I would like I don't know, I would do crazy things to get his house. So great, like his office.
Oh yeah, and like Nick copies him at that one point in the show anyway. Okay, moving on. Jess and Paul. Let's say I don't think actually that much has to be said about this relationship.
Paul is a teacher at Jess's school.
Paul's a teacher at Jess's school. What I will say,
he's very strange. Yeah, honestly.
What I will say, the episode where Paul comes over for Thanksgiving dinner.
That's
hilarious and one of the greatest episodes in my opinion. Yeah, I think that's a very good episode, and that honestly,
I mean, all the Thanksgiving episodes are just gold, but that
one's like a lot of actually relationships take place on the Thanksgiving episode. We'll come back to other ones, I guess.
Yeah,
but also when Jess and Cece, who Cece is Jess's best friend, she'll come up more later. When they're walking home from having some like one night stand,
yeah, it's
Paul,
like they're walking
who has gotten like fired from his teaching job and is now like a children's clown. And I think just seeing him like 4 seasons later or whatever that was, just added so much because I thought it was so funny and just a great addition to the show.
Because it shows that like they're both really similar.
Yeah,
people,
exactly.
But they still changed a lot over that time. Like when that was happening, when their initial relationship, and like a one night stand or something.
Yeah, I think you cut out for a second.
I did cut out. Yeah, I got a call from a random person.
Whatever. Yeah, moving on. Jess and Penelope, I think we gotta do it. Jess and Nick.
It feels so unneeded. Like I know, like probably the writers thought that it was like so cute and great, but I think it was very unneeded.
I actually disagree majorly. I think it was 100% needed. Because I don't like them as a couple. I think it was still needed. Without them as a couple, like, where does the show go? Like, at the end of the day, the show is centered around Jess. And, like, for me to keep watching the show, I have to tolerate Jess in some way, which I do. And I think her dating Nick makes her more interesting, makes her more, and they have, like, a kind of on-again, off-again relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that really just like adds to it so much. I
mean, I guess maybe it was needed, but like it made Jess up a level and Nick down many levels.
Several levels, yeah. But Nick, I think, was already pretty high.
So much better before that relationship, I guess. I don't know.
But, okay, well, let's segue that into the next thing. Let's do Nick's relationships. I'd say the main ones would be okay. Well, actually, there's one I want to talk about, even though it's only for like one episode. At the beginning of the show, Nick dates this lawyer named.
Oh my God, Reagan? Is that her name? No, it's not. No, I'm thinking of a completely different person. What's her name?
Her name is Julia.
Julia, I love Julia.
Them as a couple were absolutely great because
they shouldn't have like killed her off so quick. She's not dead, but like
no, I think she definitely should have
that relationship
for longer. I love them. I think that they should have ended up together because they were very different people, similar to Jess, honestly. But in
like they had similarities. They were both lawyers.
For example, like Nick went to. This is actually something a lot of you might not know if you're just minor watchers of the show. Nick went to law school. So they were obviously similar.
And then he dropped out.
Yeah, and then he dropped out. But and I think that like their dynamic was very similar. They're both very like socially awkward people who just like a lot.
They fit with each other though.
Yeah, and Julia had no issue with just like sitting on the couch and watching football, which is one of Nick's hobbies. So
such an important hobby.
Yeah, so I think I like that relationship.
Also, that episode where like it's like Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And Nick goes to her office, and that like kid is like talking about how he like really likes Julia and like wants to have sex with her, and then Nick's right there. That's like a great moment in the show.
That is a great moment.
It's so funny.
And okay, moving on.
There's another one. Reagan, I guess.
Reagan, yeah. It's a big.
Reagan is she stayed in the loft for what is it, like a month or two while Jess was on jury duty.
And she was still in their lives after that time, but she stayed in the loft where they lived for a month or two.
And I mean, the relationship only happened like a couple days before she was about to leave. Yeah. Which kind of, I mean, it makes sense, but it's just kind of annoying because I think they were great.
I didn't like them as a couple. I think that Reagan should have been in the show. I think she was a good character that was like added to the show and that gave it some depth. I think she could have just like been added in a different.
I mean, I don't think that they should have ended up together because they were very different people, and not in the way that like opposites attract, but like they were just very different people. But I think I liked the like little bit that relationship happened.
Yeah, I think she could have like been involved in a different way with like. Yeah, I don't really know how. I don't think she actually needed to like date one of the characters, but her as a character in general was good. I just didn't like her and Nick together. This one is actually kind of interesting. Caroline.
Okay, I don't like Caroline. And I don't think that's actually an unpopular opinion. She's a terrible person.
Yeah, no, I don't like her either. I think
really like controlling and stuff. I don't know. It's weird.
But I don't think Caroline was needed. I think the way she was involved in the show was kind of weird. How she like was only in one episode, but like played such a major part in Nick's life.
Yeah, they constantly talk about
her. They constantly talk about her. I think it's sort of like
one or two episodes.
Excessive. Like I get that Nick needs to be like depressed over like losing a girlfriend. But I just think it could have been, and even if it is Caroline, it could have been shown and portrayed better than it was, I believe.
Yeah, and even if they wanted to portray it that much, then like have them, they got together again, and then like have them stay together for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So that it actually evolves into like a real relationship without just talking about it so much, and then only having her in like an episode.
Yeah,
it was just, I don't know. Also, they are different people. I feel like all of the people Nick dates, except like that one trans granddaughter.
Oh yeah.
They're all completely different people.
Trans granddaughter wasn't like big enough that we really have to talk about. Okay, moving on to the last character I think we have to talk about in relationships. My favorite character in New Girl, Schmidt.
Yeah. Schmidt doesn't have that many actual relationships.
Well, he kind of does.
There's a lot of one-night stands.
In terms of Schmidt, I want to talk about
It's just wait, I don't remember who it is though. It's like Cece. Is that like it?
No. There was that Elizabeth.
Oh right, I liked Elizabeth.
Elizabeth was great. So Schmidt is actually a character where his relationships I have absolutely no okay, I have issues with them, but I liked all the characters he dated. I think that they were complex, like well thought out characters. I think I liked the history behind Elizabeth and Schmidt, like in terms of like them dating in college.
Yeah.
And I liked how Elizabeth.
It's like
kind of like
Elizabeth and Caroline are like they're not similar, but like they're like the same. Elizabeth, like people in their lives.
Elizabeth is just better Caroline. She had more. She was together with Schmidt for more time. She had character like development. Everything about Elizabeth, like if she was gonna be in the show, then the way she was in the show was like needed. It was like thought out. Everything was there. And then I think Elizabeth set up Schmidt and like made him like kind of like better at relationships and like better at like being a person for Cece, and then like Cece kind of like took that and ran, because Schmidt is just like, at the end of the day, he's a very like questionable character, and the decisions he makes are questionable. And I think Cece and Schmidt should end up together, like they do. But Cece needed something to like get them to end up together, like, and Elizabeth did exactly that.
That's saying like Elizabeth walked so that Cece could run, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they were both great girlfriends to Schmidt, but like Elizabeth set it up.
Yeah, they were both good girlfriends to Schmidt while he was being an absolute like being terrible.
That's true. Yeah. Which kind of makes no sense. If I were them, I would break up with him. But but I like their relationship.
Yeah, I like their relationships. I think with Schmidt we can actually because he only like really majorly dates those two people, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Other than that,
I think we can run back over his friendships real quick, because he has like important ones there. Well, we already talked about his friendship with Nick. I think his friendship with Robbie is
it's so unexpectedly great.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's great. Robbie,
like you don't expect them to be good like friends, but they are, and it's so good.
Yeah. For Robbie is just someone that Jess dates. Jess and Cece both date. So technically,
and Robbie's Jess's cousin.
Yeah, no, but that's not
distant cousin, but like.
But Schmidt is married to the person that Robbie's like in love with, yet still they're like besties.
Like there was a time when they were both at a restaurant and they were both trying to get Cece,
yeah, they were both,
but they were still like hanging out
having
together.
A great conversation about being like, I'm gonna get Cece before you, and then they were like, no, I'm gonna, and then they like had a
but it wasn't like they were like rude
during dinner after, and I think that was just beautiful character development. And then also like later in the show, then Jess dates Robbie, which is just like keeping him in the show from like pretty like early on, which I do like when you have like minor characters who are staying.
Yeah. It just makes it better.
So I think the last thing we really need to talk about, Penelope, is a question. What makes, well, we've kind of already discussed this, but what makes New Girl such a good show?
I mean, I think just kind of the simplicity of it all. Like, it's not a complex show, but it's just so good. I mean, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just like the characters and their relationships and everything just make it, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just so good. Even though you would think it would be boring, because it's just about people sitting on their couch, sort of.
Well, I think I understand what you're saying. I think it is still like about more than people sitting on their couch, but I definitely will piggyback on what you're saying. It's not a show that's hard to understand. If you watch it and you're like older than like 6, you'll understand the show.
Yeah, true.
But every like detail kind of that's like worked in, like at the very least makes sense, and like 95% of the details that are worked in are like great and add to character development or relationship development or just like chemistry development. Everything like adds to that. And then when you have 7 seasons of just like straight like adding to like chemistry and like development, then you're gonna get well-rounded characters and you're gonna get a well-rounded show by season like 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. Yeah. And even before then, it's already a good show. So after that, you just have like a really great show.
And it's just like a feel-good sitcom, which is never a bad thing. Like, unless the characters are truly terrible, a feel-good sitcom is always gonna just be a great show, really.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Friends, I hate that show, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just.
Also, I just realized when talking about relationships, we forgot to talk about Winston.
So Winston's kind of boring, honestly. He's like my second least favorite, other than Jess, in the major characters.
We'll talk about that at the end. Winston's relationships. He dates Allie. He dates Rhonda.
Yeah. Oh, I hate Rhonda. I know you're supposed to, but she makes me so mad.
I think Rhonda is actually a great character. Because for me, Rhonda is a great character. Because when I like so many of the characters in New Girl, I like to have this one character that I could just like outright like hate. And just dislike I guess, a lot. Yeah. And then Allie. Allie and Winston are a great couple. I think if Schmidt and Cece didn't end up together, then Allie and Winston would have had to like carry that like torch basically, and they would have performed at it just as well. I
kind of disagree. I think they're a good couple. I think their characters are well rounded and they work together, but I just think they're honestly kind of boring.
I think they are boring. I think at the beginning when they're like working police work together, they're kind of interesting and stuff. And Allie like is like a very interesting character who you kind of have to like get to know for a while, and I think that makes them interesting. But like if we're being honest, I think me and you, Penelope, we both really just like Schmidt and Cece as a couple. But if we're being honest, after a while, they're not that interesting anymore either. They're just like nice little like family.
I also hate in the last scene of the whole show how like Winston and Allie have like 5
I don't
kids.
like that either. So
it makes me really infuriated.
Okay, I think our main conversation is just about over.
Yeah. We have questions.
To close out the show, I would like to do 2 things.
Okay.
We'll do it like a Okay, so let's get into the game. This game is gonna be a draft-like game, and we will be drafting our favorite characters from the show. Top 4, we're gonna say. So like if I take a character first, then Penelope can no longer take that character, and so on and so on. But I'll let you go first.
Okay, I call Schmidt.
Okay, that's a strong pick. I'm not going to lie to you.
It is a strong. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like there is now some pressure on me to take my number 1 pick as Nick. I don't think he deserves that, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm picking Winston as number 1 because he kind of starts off really boring. Like he played basketball in Latvia, like boo-hoo-hoo, like no one really cares. But as he evolves, he becomes interesting. He has so many little like plot lines that like should have been more major, I feel. And like some of his relationship with Jess and his relationship with like Cece and all of his like friendships are just outstanding. And I think that he can deserve that number 1 pick because of this reason.
Okay, I disagree, but okay. Then I'm gonna take.
Yeah. That does not surprise me. Okay. With my second pick, I will choose. Oh God, I don't know.
I think there's an obvious answer here.
What? I don't? Oh wait, yes I do. I completely forgot about a character. With my second pick, I will choose Cece.
Yeah, okay. I was waiting for you to do that. I was kind of this character.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, I have a hard choice here. I'm gonna.
So the top, like, yeah.
This is my third pick.
Yeah, this
right?
is your third pick out of 4.
Okay, this is a risk. I'm gonna choose Jess, even though I despise her. I think I'm choosing Jess.
Explanation, please.
I think that those 3 work together. They have a great dynamic.
Those 3 being who?
My Schmidt, Nick, and Jess.
If you include Winston, I'll agree, but without him, no.
Winston's boring.
Winston rounds them up because there's so many, like, Winston just, like, makes them better as a group, and without them, it's, like, not good.
Okay, agree to disagree. Your pick.
Okay, my third pick. With my third pick, I'm taking... Tran.
That's such a strange pick. And you're not pick. You have Tran, but you don't have Nick?
Yeah.
That's a weird choice. I'm not
okay, so Tran is this character who does not speak until
he does speak. He says you are baby in like the first episode or something.
No, he says that in the last episode.
No, I think you're wrong. Wait. No, in the first episode where Nick meets Tran, they go to that water massage place and he says something. But other than that, he doesn't.
In general, he's like a very quiet person who Nick just like has conversations with without like talking.
It's just like Nick talking to his own thoughts, kind of. He'll be like, "What should I do about Jess?" And then Tran will like smile and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know."
But okay, that is kind of true. But whenever Tran comes on the screen and I'm watching New Girl, I get happy because the conversations Nick has with Tran and whenever he's over, it's hilarious. And he consistently is just very funny.
Okay. I mean, I respect your pick. It just thinks it's weird to do it without.
Yeah, okay. I
understand. Okay. My fourth pick, I am choosing Russell.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my contenders.
Yeah. Great character.
To close out this draft with my fourth pick, I will choose okay, it's between 2 people. God.
Okay. Well, think of who works better with your people.
I will choose Robbie. Okay.
So who do you have?
Okay, no. Okay, I want to explain my list. I think my list represents what is so special about New Girl. Because everyone on my list, or basically all the people on my list are like not really like the main characters. And they're all rather supporting characters. But I think the supporting like actors and supporting characters in New Girl make the show just like so special and so like rounded out. And I just
I think we share that our group is very important, but I think for different reasons. I agree with you that the supporting characters are very important to the show, but also my group being mainly the main characters, I think is also important. So I think both of our groups work hand in hand.
Really. Okay. What I will say, I will give this draft to you. I think you chose the better characters. I think if I had switched Tran if I had gotten the first pick and chosen Schmidt, which I obviously would have done, I would have won, and then I wouldn't have Tran on my list.
Okay. You would have Winston.
I would have Winston, Schmidt,
and who was your
Robbie?
Robbie.
Who did I choose second? Cece, which I think is a great list. I think those are honestly the best characters in New Girl. Well, okay, Nick should probably be on that list, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think my list, not to whatever the analogy is, but I think that my list is good, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay. To really close out this episode, we're gonna do some very quick trivia. Okay, we have 3 questions each. And Penelope, you have 10 seconds on the clock to answer once I stop talking.
That's really
Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Question number 1. What ex-boyfriend did Jess break up with prior to moving into the loft?
Spencer.
Correct. We did also discuss that in the show. So, question 2. What specialty perfume does Schmidt create for Cece? What is the name of it? I don't think you're gonna.
How dare you? I know, isn't it like sandalwood or something? And it smells terrible. I have no clue what it's called.
Okay, it does in fact smell terrible. I do remember that. The name of it is Cecilia No. 5.
Okay, beautiful.
Question number 3. We also talked about this, so you should be able to get this. What ex-girlfriend did Nick consider leaving the loft to move in with?
Caroline.
Correct. All right, so you went 2 for 3. Let's get your question now.
Yeah. Okay. Number 1. What makes Cece decide she needs to become serious about settling down, leading to her to allow her family to set her up?
Okay, I don't know how to say it. I know what happens. Okay. It's Schmidt dating 2 people at the same time, one of those being her. What? Okay, what's the answer?
It's her taking a fertility test that reveals her egg count is on the low side.
No, I was never gonna get that.
Okay, 2. What is the name of Jess, Nick, Schmidt, and Winston's landlord?
Come on, Penelope. I don't know. Oh wait, he comes up. He's the horny guy who wants to have a threesome.
Yeah, who wants to have a threesome? Jess and Nick. I can give you options.
Yes, please do.
Okay, well, this one, I think once I give you the options, you'll get it. Michael, Abe, Remy, or Toby? Yeah, correct. Okay, I'm giving you a half point for that because I gave you options. So you got 1.5. No,
I count that as a full point, but whatever.
Okay, sure. Approximately a week after moving into the loft, Jess is no longer the new girl. Which main character appears for the first time in the 2nd episode by moving into the loft shortly after Jess does?
Wait, is it another girl or is it a guy?
No, it's a guy.
So, actually, I do know this.
I think you have 2 choices to pick from.
I will explain. Really? The show originally starts with Nick, Schmidt, Jess, and Coach. But Coach leaves the show very quickly and then comes back later. But who moves in very soon after is Winston.
Yeah.
All right, so I got 2 out of 3 too because that counted.
I give you 1.5
2 out of 3. Okay. So you won the draft, but we tied the trivia. Okay.
Sure.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of
the Girl Downstairs
podcast. Episode 1, New Girl, is coming to a close now. Thank you for listening, and we hope you'll come back for the next episode. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Thank you for watching. No, listening.